Okay. So in lesson planning, first thing is, we need to decide the learning objectives. What the child is expected to learn. What skills the child is expected to acquire. What kind of change should take place in child's way of thinking, child's way of behavior. So all these will come under learning objectives, the aims to be achieved. You can refer to Bloom's taxonomy when you are preparing the learning objectives. I hope it is clear. Next is content to be taught. Content will be based on the CBSE syllabus. Already CBSE has given us the syllabus. So you can refer to the CBSE syllabus, you can refer to the textbook and prepare the content. Teaching methodology. What do you mean by teaching methodology? What do you mean by teaching methodology? Can you tell me some of the teaching methodologies that you generally use?
Lecture method.
PPT.
Yeah, the different strategies, different techniques which you adopt to impart to the lesson. The traditional teaching methodology is lecture method. The teacher gives a lecture, students listen to that, and students acquire knowledge. But in the modern day world, lecture method is given less importance. Of course, it is needed even today for certain topics. We also call it chalk and talk method or lecture method. Teacher will be explaining and children will listen to the teacher and they will listen to the teacher and understand. Do you think that lecture method is a very effective method of teaching? Do you think that lecture method is a very effective way of teaching?
No, sir.
Why?
Going on listening, going on teaching means what they will get.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes.
Why?
There must be an interaction with students, sir.
Yes.
There must be interaction. Okay. Say psychologists say that a child can listen to your words and concentrate in what you teach only some 15 minutes, not more than that. So more than 15 minutes, if you give lecture, the child cannot concentrate in that. And passive learning is not at all an effective learning. Lecture method encourages passive learning actually. The child interaction is very, very less. Child's activities are limited. So that is not an effective way of learning. It becomes monotonous, it becomes boring. You may even find the children sleeping in the class if it is lecture method. Am I right?
It is less effective, but the problem is it is the only way to complete portion very fastly. That is also another problem we are facing.
Problem, it is true, sir, but still you can have lecture method, nothing wrong in it, but it should be combined with some other techniques, some other methods. Okay, completing
yes, I do agree,
alone.
Sir. I do agree because it is less effective. But I am telling this is the practical problem.
You are right. Okay, lecture method has to be used. We cannot just like that reject it. But in the middle, along with the lecture method, try to add up the other methods of teaching, like storytelling. You can teach a content in the form of a story. It will make the lesson more interesting for the child because children always like to listen to stories. Convert the content into a story and teach. Is it not possible? Converting the content into a story and teaching. Is it not possible? At least some content or many contents we can convert into story and create a good atmosphere and ambience and make the children listen to the stories. They will also interact. The learning becomes easier. Learning becomes interesting. Do you want me to demonstrate a storytelling, a story which explains a particular topic? If you want, I'll go for it. Otherwise, we'll go to the next points. I think in the last last year session also, I have narrated the same story. Teachers, you remember
climate, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Climate
The
story.
new teachers are,
French Revolution.
yes, the new
French
teachers are
Revolution.
there. French Revolution is one. Regarding
And Jallianwala Bagh massacre.
Jallianwala Bagh massacre, okay. One of
Then
the
that fire in the house, you know,
yes,
climate lesson.
yes. Today I will tell the story of a raindrop. Shall I?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please listen. Please listen. Some years back, in the month of May, I was in my native place, Kerala. Yeah. So in the month of May, I was just sitting in the morning in my sit out. It was raining. Kerala, you know, May month, the middle, the rain will start. So it was raining. I was just listening to the music of rain. Rain has got a beautiful music. We all can enjoy that music. With a cup of tea and at the same time the newspaper in hand, I was sitting in my sit out listening to the music of the rain. Suddenly what happened, you know, one raindrop, it fell on a small tree in front of my house, a small tree actually. From there it got diverted. From there it got diverted and it came to my hand actually. So a small raindrop on my hand, a shining one. I just looked at the raindrop and smiled. The raindrop also smiled back. I asked the raindrop, how are you? The raindrop said, I'm good. How are you? I said, I'm fine, fantastic. I'm in the native place, so I'm very happy. So we started our interaction. The raindrop said, you are in your native place, you are very, very happy. But unfortunately, I am far away from my native place, so I'm a little bit unhappy. I asked, what happened to you, raindrop? Please tell me. Then the raindrop started telling its story. So now I will narrate in the words of the raindrop. See, once upon a time, I was in my native place. Immediately I asked, which is your native place? My native place is, of course, the ocean, the sea. So I was in the sea along with my family members, along with my neighbors, along with my relatives. I was enjoying there. I was very happy. But one fine day when we were playing on the sea, on the surface of the ocean, the hot sun rays fell on me. I felt uneasiness. I felt some changes were happening within me. So gradually what happened, from my liquid stage, I changed into gaseous form. I became what you call water vapor. So in a gaseous form, I was not able to stay in the ocean. I was not able to stay in the sea. But luckily, the molecules, air molecules, gave me refuge. They said, come and sit in the intermolecular space. So what is actually intermolecular space? It is the space between two molecules. So they gave me refuge there. They said, you can sit here, you can spend your time here. So as the raindrop did not have any other option, as the water vapor did not have, not raindrop actually, water vapor did not have any other option, it started staying in the intermolecular space and became a part of the air. Then the wind started blowing, the air started moving. So gradually we came to the seashore. And on the seashore, after crossing some time, there was a mountain. So we had to cross the mountain. We had to go up in order to cross the mountain. So while going up, the air temperature decreased. Can you tell me why does the air temperature decrease as the height increases, as the altitude increases, teachers?
Normal upside. Because the temperature decreases.
As you go to the higher level in the atmosphere, temperature
Increasing of
decreases.
the height, temperature will decrease, pressure will be increased.
Decrease, sir.
the-
Normal lapse rate, sir.
Now my question is, why does the temperature decrease with increase in height? Why does the temperature decrease with increase in height? Anybody?
Sir, it is known as lapse rate, sir.
I want the
Sir,
reason.
can I tell, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Is with the increase of the height, temperature will be decreased, pressure will be increased, sir.
Yes, ma'am. But my question is, why does the temperature decrease? Yes, sir. You
Because
say.
Oxygen level will be very less.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Earth's
oxygen level,
atmosphere is
when we
heated
go
by
higher,
terrestrial radiation.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
Actually,
the
yeah, you are right, sir. Very good.
troposphere, which is very close to the Earth,
Yes.
heated
Yes.
fast.
Yes.
And when the distance increases from the surface,
Very
the
good. Very
temperature
good.
might be decreased.
Very good. Very good. There is one more reason, sir. Can you tell me that? What you said is exactly correct. One more reason. Can you tell me?
What is the question, sir? This one regarding the temperature.
Why does temperature decrease with increase in height? Your point is absolutely correct. Can you tell me one more point? One more reason.
I don't remember, sir.
Okay, very good. Anyway, well done, sir. Your point is correct. Actually, atmosphere is not directly heated by the sun rays. The sun rays fall on the Earth's surface and get deflected. It is from this deflected sunlight that the air gets heated, as you say, terrestrial radiation. So lower layers get more heat, and as height increases, the temperature decreases. This is one reason. Another reason, carbon dioxide gas is mainly responsible for absorbing heat. Carbon dioxide gas, CO2, is mainly responsible for absorbing heat, and CO2 is found more in the lower layers of atmosphere. As you go to the higher levels of atmosphere, CO2 content goes on decreasing. So these are the two reasons why the air temperature decrease with increase in altitude. Okay, so what happened, the air started moving up because the air has to cross the mountain. So what happened? The temperature started decreasing. If temperature decrease, what will happen to the air molecules? Anyone? If temperature decrease, what will happen to air molecules? Anybody?
Cool down and slowly will change to water. I think.
No, air I am asking.
Condenses.
Tell me, explain what will happen to the air molecules.
Sir, please
See,
repeat the question again. Please repeat the question again.
When temperature decreases, what would happen to the air molecules?
That gas form change to water, sir.
Okay, these air molecules. Okay,
Air
listen.
molecules become heavy, sir.
Okay, the air molecules are like human beings. See, if you are sleeping, you can ask the children. If you are sleeping with your sibling, say brother or sister, during a winter night, how would you sleep? Winter night, you would be very close to each other. You hug each other and sleep. Am I right? See, two brothers on a winter night, how would they sleep on the same bed? They will be very close to each other because they want to share the warmth of the body. On the other hand, how would they sleep during summer?
Far away.
They will be far away from each other. One will be on the one side of the bed, the other one will be on the other side of the bed. Am I right? Same like that, only air molecules also. If they are heated, they will move away from each other. Air will expand, density will fall. When they are cooled, the air molecules will come closer. When they are cooled, the air molecules will come closer. So when air molecules come closer, what will happen? Intermolecular space will decrease. So when intermolecular space becomes decreased, what will happen to the water vapor which is present there? Anybody? What will happen to the water vapor which is present in the intermolecular space? The water vapor will be shed out in the form of droplets. These droplets will cling to the dust particles and float in the air as cloud. You call it by the name condensation. See, when the air is cooled, air density will increase. The air molecules will move closer to each other. The intermolecular space will fall. Then this water vapor which is present in the intermolecular space will be thrown out. So this water vapor will come out in the form of droplets. And that droplet will get attached to the dust particles. And these dust particles, these water droplets will be floating in the air. When millions of such droplets float in the air together, it will be called a cloud. Later, the cloud may also be taken to higher level by the air currents. And the droplets in the cloud may come together, because when they are cooled, they will also come closer. They are also like human beings. And when hundreds of droplets come together, join together, it becomes a drop. Can a drop float in the air? Can a drop float in the air? No, because it is heavy. Then the water drop told me, sir, you people say, united we stand, divided we fall. But in our case, it is just opposite. Divided we stand, united we fall. When we unite, when so many droplets join together, and when we become a drop, we will fall down. And that is what we call rain. So I fell on the ground, and along with others, I actually fell on this tree, and now I am on your hand, and later I will join with others and flow back to the river. From the river, one day I will be reaching my native place. So this story, with some drawings and all, if you can present. Actually, online we have got a lot of limitations. In a physical class, you can explain the story with the drawings on the board. You can show how the droplets are coming out, how they form the cloud, how the rain occurs. So all those concepts will enter into the mind of the child. Child will become thorough in it. So try to convert your lessons into stories. Storytelling method can be followed. Do you agree with me? Instead of just like that describing, make it into a story. French Revolution also can be narrated in the form of a story. Visualization can be more encouraged. Children can see in their mind. We will have a separate session on visualization, so that time we will discuss that. Then, Socratician method of teaching can be followed. What is Socratician method? Anybody? What do you mean by Socratician method of teaching? What do you mean by Socratician method of teaching? You are all familiar with the great philosopher Socrates, am I right?
Yes, sir.
He was a great teacher, but he never taught anything. He was a great teacher, but he never taught anything. Then what did he do?
He did
Asking
research and
questions.
facts. He did research and asked, given the facts.
He used to give only questions. He used to ask questions
Practical method.
and encourage his children or his students to find answers. Socrates never taught any lesson. Socrates gave questions. And Socrates motivated students to come out with answers. and discuss those answers. So you can also do that. Ask questions. That makes the class interactive. That makes the class student oriented. See, even teachers' role is changed in the modern day world. Teachers are called learning facilitator. You provide the conditions necessary for the child to learn. You can start teaching a lesson by asking questions. You can proceed the lessons by asking questions. Of course, your children may not be able to find answers to all the questions. In that case, you can give the answers. Of course, Socrates never gave answers because Socrates' students were also philosophers. So they could find answers by themselves. Our students are actually children. So sometimes we'll have to give them answers. But you will be surprised when you see children coming out with their own thoughts, their own ideas, etc. Another teaching methodology, dramatization can be done. See, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, for example. Children can present it in the form of a skit, can't they? Can't they present it in the form of a sketch? And once they present it in the form of a sketch, they will never forget it. So you can have dramatization method. Project-based learning can be done. You give the topic, give them guidance. They will do a project work and they will acquire knowledge about that particular concept. Activities can be carried out. For example, you want to teach election. Election is there in class 9 political science. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Instead of teaching election or instead of giving a lecture on election, you conduct an election. You follow all the procedures. Let the children participate. Let the children contest. Let the children campaign. Let them come out with election manifesto. One day you have that activity. They will never forget that. Can't it be done? Is it not possible to conduct an election for class 9 students?
Possible.
Yeah, you can elect the class leaders or cultural secretary or school leader, something like that, with the permission of the principal. So such activities can be carried out, such things children will never forget in their life. What we experience, we will not forget. But what we hear, we will forget. So appropriate teaching methodology has to be adopted. And while adopting the teaching methodology, it should be appropriate with regard to the content and with regard to the kind of students which you have. So mix up different teaching strategies. Of course, you can have lecture method, you can have questioning method, that is Socratic method. You can have storytelling method. You can have dramatization method. You can have activity-based learning, experimental learning. You can conduct experiments. For example, to know the relationship between temperature and pressure, you can conduct an experiment. I think in the last year's class, I have shown you the video of an experiment with the masks and other things. So find out what kind of experiments can be conducted. Of course, as far as social science is concerned, experiment-based learning, we cannot use much. But in geography, in some situations, we can have it. Okay, so make it more interesting. So what technology, what methodology you are using, what teaching aids you are using. Teaching aids can be maps, teaching aids can be charts, online mode it can be our PPT, or if you are conducting some experiments, you can have appropriate teaching aids. So what teaching aids you are using, that has to be written in the lesson plan. What kind of assignment you are giving, that should be there in the lesson plan. So these are all the essential components of a lesson plan. Yesterday I posted a lesson plan in the group. Have you gone through that? 3 chapters lesson plan I posted in the group.
Yes, sir.
All of you have gone through that?
Yes, sir.
I'll just open it. 1 second. This is actually an elaborate lesson plan which I prepared for submitting to CBSE. You need not go this much elaborate. I prepared it in an elaborate manner because this was meant for submitting to CBSE. And we have got full marks for this lesson plan. 5 marks were allotted and full 5 marks were given. We also call it, nowadays we don't prepare lesson plan for every class. That is not possible. We prepare a plan for a chapter. What do you do in your school? Do you prepare for every class, every session?
Weekly one.
Lesson wise only.
Lesson wise only. That is only practically possible. Okay, some schools are insisting on lesson plan for every class, like our B.Ed days actually, but that is not possible. So this lesson plan is on nationalism in India. Period of time you have to give. I prepared it in 2014 actually. So how many periods you need? Depending on that, the period of time can be mentioned. Okay. Then topics to be covered. Which topics you are going to cover? Impact of the First World War on Indian national movement, Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, cultural factors which promoted nationalism. This is based on the CBSE curriculum. CBSE curriculum it is given. Now the specific objectives of the lesson plan. I mean, this is what we call the learning objectives. Specific objectives or learning objectives. You see, the people acquires the knowledge of the mass movements launched to liberate India. That means they acquire knowledge about civil disobedience movements and non-cooperation movement. Understand the exact meaning of nationalism and the factors that promoted nationalism in India. So one is knowledge level, learning objective. Another one is understanding level, learning objective. Appreciates the powerful revolutionary and peaceful method of struggle called Satyagraha. So this is like a practical application and develops the skill to write knowledge and prepare charts. These all come under practical application of the knowledge. Analyze the role played by various social groups in mass movements. Analyzing. Appreciating the cultural factors that promoted nationalistic feelings among the Indian people. So in this way, the learning objectives have to be written. You can have your own way of writing. Please refer to Bloom's taxonomy before writing the learning objectives. Then teaching methodology. To teach this chapter, we have Gandhi movie. If possible, you can screen the entire movie to the children. Nowadays, all the schools are having PowerPoint, the projector and all, projector rooms and all. So one day, with the permission of the principal, you can screen the movie Gandhi. So once the child watches the Gandhi movie, child will easily learn the Dandi March or will learn the Salt Satyagraha, the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, everything the child can see on the screen. So either you can screen the movie or you can even take the video cuttings. In the YouTube it is available. Dandi March, if you give the Dandi March video alone, it's a part of the movie, but YouTube it is uploaded separately. So such whatever part we need, like we need to teach them the Dandi March or the Salt Satyagraha. We need to teach them the Chauri Chaura incident. We need to teach them the Champaran movement, the Khilafat movement, or Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. So that part alone also you can show. But it will be better if you can show the entire Gandhi movie to the children. So that will come as an activity. Teacher explains the lesson with the help of PowerPoint. Topic-wise discussion can be carried out. Each topic you can discuss separately. Debate can be conducted. Gandhian method versus Ho Chi Minh's method. What is the difference between Gandhian method and Ho Chi Minh's method? Ho Chi Minh, Indochina, the leader of Indochina's movement. Can you tell me what is the difference between these two movements?
Non-violence and violence.
Yes.
Non-violence and
Ho
revolution.
Chi Minh followed violent methods of struggle, whereas Gandhiji followed non-violent method of struggle. So you can have a debate on that. Some students will argue for peaceful method of struggle. Some students will argue that no, in some situations, we need to go for violent method of struggle. So there can be a debate on the topic. Children will enjoy. Photo exhibition can be conducted based on Gandhiji's life and struggle. Ask the children to collect the photos. They are available in internet now. So an exhibition can be conducted. So these are all various methods of teaching which you can follow. Projects and activities. Prepare and present PowerPoints on freedom struggle. Skit on tribal revolt. About Alluri Sidaram Raju, one skit can be presented. How the movement was organized by Alluri Sidaram Raju in Gudam Hills of Andhra Pradesh. Children can present it in the form of a skit. Baba Ramchandra's present Satyagraha in Awadh in Uttar Pradesh, that can be presented in the form of a skit. Children can maintain a scrapbook. They can collect the pictures, newspaper reports, etc. connected with the freedom movement. Available in the internet. Debates can be conducted. Flowcharts can be prepared based on non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement. So various projects and activities that will be carried out in the lesson. Then you describe the content. I have described the content in a more elaborate manner because I told you I wanted to send it for CBSE evaluation. That is why you need not go such a deep thing. But if you prepare in a deeper manner, you will be preparing also for the lesson. Okay. So content has to be elaborated. Flow chart. What flow chart you are going to use? Okay. Constructive program, how it would be. So all these I have posted in the group. Please go through it. Now, after the content is described, your conclusion. The teacher will summarize the lesson and ask students to write a short summary. Then the students come forward and read the summary they wrote. Students also present PowerPoint. It can be a group quiz activity. Then you need to give the classwork, analyze the impact of First World War on Indian national movement, describe the 3 mass movements organized by Gandhiji between 1916 and 1918, narrate the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, why did Muslim leaders organize the Khilafat movement, explain the non-cooperation movement. So you can ask, you can give such a classworks that will help in the examination. Homework can be given. Compare and contrast the non-cooperation movement with the civil disobedience movement. Children need to compare these 2 important mass movements. Can you tell me what differences are there between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement? What differences? Yeah.
To cooperating with the system, sir.
Yes.
And civil disobedience, not following the rules.
Not obeying the government.
Breaking the laws.
Breaking the laws.
Yeah, that is exactly correct. Non-cooperation movement just meant not cooperating with the government, not supporting the government, not participating in government activities. But civil disobedience movement is still more revolutionary. It is disobeying the civil laws passed by the government. Disobeying the civil laws. That is why Gandhiji inaugurated the movement by breaking salt law at Dandi. Next difference. This is one difference. What is next? What is next? Any other difference between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement?
The demand of the non-cooperation was Swaraj, attaining Swaraj.
Very
and
good.
the demand of the civil disobedience was Purna Swaraj, attainment of
Very
Swaraj.
good. Very good. Non-cooperation movement aimed at Swaraj, whereas civil disobedience movement aimed at Purna Swaraj. What is the difference between these two? Swaraj and Purna Swaraj?
Swaraj means self-rule, sir.
Yeah.
Purna Swaraj means complete independence.
Okay. Actually, Swaraj means like dominion status. Those days, you know, in British colonies of New York and Australia, sorry, New Zealand and Australia, they had a dominion status. It means there will be an elected parliament, prime minister, and they will have more powers, but at the same time, there will be a viceroy appointed by the British monarch. So that is what we call dominion status or Swaraj. That means Indians will elect a parliament, Indians will have their own prime minister, council of ministers, and they will have the real powers. But at the same time, there will be a viceroy as a representative of the British government. That means India will continue to be a part of the British Empire, but Indians will have more active role to play in the administration of their country. This is what we call Swaraj. Purna Swaraj means complete freedom. British should go out of India. India will not have any connections with the British Empire. India will be outside the British Empire. There will not be any viceroy. Instead, India will elect, Indian people will elect a president. This we call Purna Swaraj, complete freedom. So the goal of non-cooperation movement was Swaraj, whereas the goal of civil disobedience movement was Purna Swaraj. Any other difference?
Some of the social groups not participated in civil disobedience, but maximum mass participation we can see in non-cooperation movement.
Non-cooperation movement, Muslim participation was very high. In fact, Khilafat movement, the Muslim movement, and the non-cooperation movement went hand in hand, went together. So Muslims actually participated in non-cooperation movement, but when we come to the civil disobedience movement, we find Muslim participation less. So children have to compare and contrast the non-cooperation movement with the civil disobedience movement, limitations of civil disobedience movement, cultural factors that promoted Indian national movement. So these all can be given as assignment. Formative assessment, like project work, biography of a national leader. You can ask children to prepare biography of a national leader. They can prepare biography of Mahatma Gandhi or Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose or Jawaharlal Nehru. So that can be done. Learning outcome. Finally, what change you are finding in the children? They will understand the sacrifices made by the people of India during freedom. They will understand the need to protect sovereignty and democracy of the nation. They will appreciate India's culture based on diversity. They will develop patriotic and nationalistic feelings. So 3 chapters lesson plans I have already given to you. Please make use of that. Please go through that. I don't want you to copy it or follow as it is. I want you to take it as a sample and prepare your own lesson plan. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, today, what are the topics? Namaste, sir.
Sir, namaste. May I, with your permission, can I add something, sir?
Please, sir. Please.
Yeah. Namaste, everybody. And it's a wonderful session. I've been enjoying listening. And your story of raindrop is beautiful, and I like it.
Due to time problem, I
can understand that. And it's a little adding to this. This lesson plan constraint is a major problem for the teachers. It's difficult to make for every lesson. But I advise that you can dissect the entire lessons based on the different concepts, or you can take the concepts wise and write just a kind of objective for that, and how are you going to realize that objective and identify the suitable activity for that. See, so many activities you have mentioned now. So I wish, that's what, when I was principal in Navodaya Vidyalaya, I used to ask the teachers, you just give me for that particular lesson, how many concepts are there, what is that objective which you want to write for that concept, and what are those activities you want to conduct for realizing that objectivity. So this is what I just did. I thought I will add to this. Thank you. Sorry, I just getting into your session.
Thank you very much for your submission.
Thank
We
you.
will follow it.